Welcome back, everyone. It's the Bourbon Judge. We're going to go ahead and dive into Stellum Bourbon. All right. All right, folks. So before we dive into this bad boy, do me 3 favors, right? If you don't mind, 3 favors. Number 1, hit the like button. Number 2, drop me a comment. Last but not least, please hit that huge subscribe button. Each week a lot of people do watch the different videos, and I appreciate everyone for doing so. However, there's a lot of people that have not subscribed. Come on, dive into it. Join along, right? Hang out with the Bourbon Judge and the rest of the family. Alrighty, folks. So when you think of Stellum Bourbon, so this is actually a brand new sub-product from one of many people, I should say, many individuals, favorite companies out there, right? Barrel Bourbon. So you think of Barrel Bourbon, yeah, they have, obviously a lot of classics like your Dovetail, Batch 23, Batch 27. Everyone loved Batch 27, Batch 28, and so many different versions of of Barrel Bourbon. I actually reviewed on the channel Armida not too long ago, and I'll put the link up above for Armida. But when you think about just Barrel Bourbon in general, what really comes to mind? A couple of things, right? Number 1, based in Kentucky, but they are a distilling organization, and really more of a blending, I should say, organization, right? So they grab some of the best barrels from Kentucky, Indiana, Tennessee, blend them together, and they're very upfront. They'll show you like the age, they'll show you the proof, and they'll tell you, obviously Kentucky, Tennessee, and Indiana, and so forth. So that's one really cool thing about Barrel Company. But this is the first time, because the majority of the time, they're, let's call it bourbon and ryes, are anywhere from $80 to like $100, sometimes even $115. So this is the first time with this new Stellum brand, they're actually bringing it down a notch as it relates to the price. All right, so a couple facts about Stellum. So this sub-brand, it comes in a bourbon and a rye. I personally have not seen the rye in the wild, but I saw this one. So the rye has a green label, the bourbon has a blue label. And the bourbon comes in at 114.98 proof, right? Comes at 114.98 proof. And again, the MSRP on this one is actually $50. I was very fortunate. I found it for, like $45. It's a little bit cheaper. But at $50, and also this being a cask strength bourbon, you have to wonder, did Barrel knock it out the park again, right? I find with Barrel Bourbon, you're either a fan, you love it, or you hate it, right? Literally, you love it or hate it. There's not a lot of in between with Barrel Bourbons, right? Not a lot. Let me go ahead and pour this one. All right. So I should also say, for this one in particular, there's no set age statement, but I will say, because it does come in at $45-50, you have to wonder, most of the Barrel Bourbons typically is that higher age, 9, 10, 12, 15 years. My guess, just my guess, because again, there's no exact age statement. This one, they didn't put in an age statement. This is probably younger whiskey, I should say, right? Anywhere from maybe 4, 6, 7 years. That's just my guess, right? That's not confirmed. But at the price point of only being $50 for a cask strength bourbon, it almost has to be, right? If we think about it. We all know bourbon, the longer it sits and it ages and so forth in the barrels, the more expensive it typically is by the time it reaches us. Whenever you're reaching that 10, 12, 15 year mark, we're all paying for that. So it is what it is. Folks, let's go ahead and dive into this one. So from a color standpoint, this is actually nice and light. If you can see that, this is like a light golden brown. Very nice and light. Let's give it a little spin there. Not bad at all. All right, let's get into the nose. So I will also say, from an availability standpoint, this is available. It's interesting. Okay. This is available in 45 markets. Now hear me, I said 45 markets in the US, not 45 states, 45 markets. And I'll give you an example. California, you have huge markets. San Fran, LA, San Diego, but it's available in 45 markets, so it's more than likely available either in your state or in a neighboring state, which is pretty cool. Last but not least, you can also find it online through their website, right? So check out the Stellum website, and you can definitely find it there as well, which is pretty cool. All right, but let's get to the nose. So from a nose standpoint, okay, this is actually nice and like light sweet, very like fruity. I get some apples, some light pears, a little bit of vanilla, but no extra spice. This is it's like a lighter cask strength. No traditional like dark or deep caramel, brown sugar. You really get a ton of that. You get a little bit of caramel, but no brown sugar. Wow. Very nice and light and crisp. More apple, fruit, and pear forward. Very nice and light. A little bit, and I mean just a smidge of caramel in there, but no brown sugar, no deep oak, right? This, you can tell, has not sat in the barrels for a long time. And it is sourced, and this is sourced from barrels from Kentucky, Indiana, and Tennessee. All right, folks, I say this every week. Hey, cheers. I appreciate everyone out there. If you haven't done, again, thus far, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. But as I say each and every week, thank you for watching the channel regardless. Peace, cheers, salute to everyone out there. All right, let's rock and roll. All right. Not bad. All right. All right, let me get a little bit more before I give you a final judgment. Just a smidge. The nose is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. The palate, all right, folks. As we say, bourbon judge, keep it honest. Give me a straight up verdict. Is this a buy? Is this a leave it on the shelf and just walk right past it? And in the bourbon judge's world, give it the deuces. The verdict, my friends, is in. This is a split decision. So, you guys know I always keep it real with everyone out there, right? So, bourbon judge, why in the hell is this a split decision? Just give me a buy or do not buy. I'm gonna keep it real, right? Some bourbons are straight up buy all day long, and some you want to run away from, like it's your ex-girlfriend who's coming out of the store while your wife's with you, right? Seriously. This is not that. This is truly a split decision. I say all that to say, here are the reasons why. At $50, this is a really good cask strength bourbon, right? However, I should say, if I'm comparing it to ones that are just a little bit more expensive, like $60, $65, like an Elijah Craig, or if you like that very deep, traditional barrel proof bourbon, you will not like this because it doesn't have all that deep brown sugar, the deep caramel. It has a little bit of caramel, and it doesn't have the very oak forward. It is definitely a lighter and probably a younger whiskey, if you will, but it's also quite appealing at the same time. And here's the other side of it. If you like a barrel proof bourbon, but you want it to be a bit more, let's call it on the fruit side, everything from the nose transferred to the palate. So all those apples and like the pears and so forth, all of that was in the nose, and it damn sure was also in the palate. And that's the reason why it's kind of cool. If you want something a little bit lighter, even though it's barrel proof, but lighter from a palate standpoint, because they're coming up on the summertime, this is actually really, really good. But if you're an old school kind of person where you're like, you know what, just give it to me strong. I want my brown sugar, my caramel, my oak forward type bourbon all day long, you will not like this. So, depends on which side of the fence you're on. For me, it's pretty cool. I might rock with this during the summertime. I'm having some cigars. I think this will actually go really, really well with some good cigars. As you say, folks, peace, cheers, salute. I appreciate everyone out there.